If you're gonna ask any person, they're gonna say that 24 hours is not enough for me. But it's not true. When you are really mindful of whatever you are doing, you see that you have the whole 24 hours a day.
There's so many different levels of meditation. People think that you have to sit there in a chair and just close your eyes and breathe. You can meditate while you're cleaning. You can meditate while you're standing. You can meditate while you're speaking to someone. Meditation's all around you.
If your husband, for example, sees that you are happy just by yourself, he's gonna do everything to make you happy as well. But if they're gonna see that you don't love yourself, you don't put yourself first, they're gonna take advantage of that.
You will learn to motivate yourself by just constantly seeing the result. It just doesn't grow on a tree like that. When they say get motivated, it's not easy like that. There's a big mental game to that.
Imagine if your friend is coming to you and is saying you that, this thing's happening in my life, and what you're gonna answer? You're gonna tell them that it's okay, this will pass, you're a human. You should have the same self-compassion to yourself as you have to your friend.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Today's episode, I had on an amazing guest 3 weeks before her due date, a very pregnant and amazing Zhenya Baghinyan. She is the owner and creator of Wellness Routine. We had on her because we wanted to talk about what routine is about and how to maintain it, how to create it. And this goes for men and women. The conversation was so genuine. It was so smooth and beautiful about how to maintain routine, your why, which she explains in the podcast, motherhood, fatherhood, nutrition. And we dived into a little bit of self-care and how people in general can put themselves first. She has her own courses, and I really wanted her to explain to you her teachings, her findings, and her wisdom. This episode was so rich, full of nurture and information about your wellness and what that looks like. We did dive into talking about a little bit of psychology and also how sometimes as men and women, it can be hard to leave the cleaning that we do that eases our anxiety and how difficult it can be to leave that era and to nurture the true cleaning, which is the cleaning of ourselves, the internal work. So we dived really deep into that and what that looks like, meditation as well. Overall, just a very rich and genuine conversation with her. Her presence are so calm. I think you guys are really going to love her and her presence and what she brings to the table. This is a podcast where you guys will be definitely hooked on the TV because her presence is so amazing. She's also, she came to the show pregnant, which I'm so grateful for. And I think that's such a motivating and inspiring part of her life where she is almost a mom of 3. And we talked about motherhood as well and, what the science is behind successful kids too, which was a really important piece. So thank you for joining me. Make sure you subscribe and enjoy this conversation with Zhenya because she brings so much amazing information about your wellness and your routine to the table. So get ready to learn from her and of course take notes. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Zhenya, it's so nice to have you on. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I adore your work. I think that you are definitely making such an impact in the lives of a lot of people with your energy, with your teaching, with your wellness guidance. And I think it's such a purposeful position to fulfill as a human being. Can you tell us how this idea was born?
Yeah, first of all, I'm very excited to be here and to talk about the topics which are really close to my heart. I'm very passionate about wellness, about the wellness routine and habits. And I believe that health, both physical and mental, is the foundation of everything we do. That's why we all need to create a wellness routine and to make it a habit for a lifetime results. And my path to wellness started with my personal chronic health issues. And after I healed myself, I've decided that I need to share my knowledge and to help people to create their path to wellness, to help them heal themselves, and also to help them be the healthiest and the best selves that are possible.
Wow, that's beautiful. Do you feel comfortable sharing about your experience with health? What did you experience that woke you
Yes.
up a little bit?
Yes, of course. It started like about 2 years ago. Um, if I will go back, I had like autoimmune disease, psoriasis from 12 years old. It was always part of me, but thanks to my mom, I always were doing natural remedies, never
Hmm.
put any steroids on me or anything. But all my life I was concentrating only on, knowledge, on the university and everything. I was never concentrating on my health. But what happened after having my second baby, it was the time when COVID started. And then I was like home with two small kids. My son was 1 year old and 4 months old, and my daughter was born. And I stayed home, no work, nothing. Of course, it affected my mental health as well,
Hmm.
and also my physical health. The symptoms that I was having, it was like I was always bloated. I already at that time had chronic diarrhea, chronic constipation, and mental health, everything were affected. And I decided that one day I remember that I just woke up and decided that I need to change something. I need to change my life. And I really want to tell people that we are just one decision away from a totally different life. And when you have chronic illness, it's not the end of the world. It's not up to doctors or up to anyone if you can stay like that or just to take some pills for the rest of your life.
Hmm.
You can just make that decision and change your life. That's what I did. And I started with a therapy. That
Really?
was my first step. Yeah. I
How
start.
was that experience for you?
It was first time actually, but it was really beneficial for me because at that time I really needed a mental help, and
Mm.
therapy was the beginning of everything. And I did about maybe 6 months,
Oh
and
my
then
goodness.
yeah,
Good for you. You didn't quit.
no, I didn't because I was really consistent of that because I really knew that that's something that really is helping me because I wanted to be a best mom for my kids, and I couldn't manage it all at that time. But that was something I really needed that I need to do that. And then after that, I decided that I need to take care of my physical health as well. And after going to the best doctors from UCLA, what I discovered for myself doing lots of research that I should be my own doctor.
Yes.
Yeah, I should be my
Wow.
own doctor and I should start taking care of myself. But I didn't have any knowledge about that. So I was really, I'm economist by my first profession. I have
Yeah.
master's degree in business management. So I really was very far from medicine. But I decided that I have to study that. Yeah, and now I'm a certified holistic health and wellness coach. I've studied holistic nutrition at Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And that all the information helped me to start healing myself. And I started to see the changes already,
Hmm.
even in the, not in the end of the classes, just from the beginning.
What did you experience? So, yes, I do understand the autoimmune and
Mm-hmm.
then having given birth and not being physically at your
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
best health condition. What do you think you were experiencing mentally when you were not in that best health position? What was going on with you mentally that you had to seek a therapist?
Um, you know, I was not feeling myself. I would say that all my life I have been an overachiever, a perfectionist, always like trying to be my best, trying to achieve something. And I used to that lifestyle. And staying home with the kids, I was feeling myself not enough.
Hmm.
And all that mental health, of course, affected my physical health as well.
Hmm.
And then after that, it started already to become chronically everything because everything was just something. You have pain here, you have pain there, and how we all think that it's going to go away, everything is fine, no one is healthy. But after not taking care of myself for a while, it's already was something chronic for me.
Yeah, it does. And it's interesting that when we don't take care of our physical, well, first of all, mental, how it affects our physical. And this is where we're going to get into this routine that you created. This is the birth that, I think that every wonderful, wonderful idea of a human being is born from such a gnarly experience of life. So tell us, why do you think, from a professional perspective, routine is essential in our life?
Uh, Wellness routine is the foundation of everything we do. It's really important for our physical health, for our mental health, and because of doing consistently the wellness practices, we can effectively manage all life's ups and downs. We are building resilience through that. So even though if you are not even sick, you don't even have a chronic illness, it's very important to start creating your wellness routine to build that resilience for yourself for the future, And also, it's overall it's very important, and I wanted to mention that wellness routine, it's not only our physical health, it's creating harmony within our mind, body, and soul. So yeah, I'm truly believe in holistic health, and I truly believe that it's not only our physical health, it's not only the movement, the nutrition that we eat, the sleep routine and everything, it also our mind, body, and soul, like everything connected to each other.
I love that. Can you please explain to us how the wellness is correlated with our mind, body, and soul?
Yes, of course. As we know that our gut is connected to our brain, right? So whatever is happening in our gut, it affects our brain and vice versa. So, and we know that 90% of serotonin is in our gut.
It
So that's a
is.
huge amount.
It
And
is.
if anybody don't know, serotonin is a feel-good chemical that helps us to
That's right.
regulate our appetite, mood and sleep. So it's really important. If you take care of your gut, if you are doing everything to have a healthy gut, then you have a higher serotonin levels, and you are doing yourself a favor to have less anxiety, to have less mood swings. So yeah, it's really important, and we have that connection there, our gut to our brain.
Yeah. How does that help the soul? What do you think? What are your opinions about that?
I think that health is not only about, like I said, physical and
Yeah.
mental. Yes,
Yeah.
we should take care of our soul as well, because it's not only whatever we are eating, what kind of physical exercises we do. It's about the relationship that we have in our life. It's about the people that we surround ourselves. The
Yeah.
books that we are reading, being mindful of the what we're watching, how much time we spend on the internet. Everything is connected, and how thankful you are in your life. So with all that, that's a spiritual practices that we all should do. It's not only because Edith, there are some people that they eat healthy, they take care of their, mind, they do the regular physical activity, but it's still something is not right with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something is not enough. That's because they are not doing the soul work.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you teach soul work?
I teach like everything. I want to say that I'm doing wellness workshops every month, and actually, wellness routine is. I didn't say that I'm the creator of the wellness routine in the beginning.
It's okay. I would have said it for you.
Yeah, and what is it? It's a community. It's a platform where I teach people
Yeah.
holistic health and wellness, and make them live a balanced and fulfilling lives. And started from April, I was doing wellness workshops every month, and I'm usually taking like different topics each
Mm-hmm.
month. And what I'm doing, I'm not only concentrating on healthy nutrition or physical activities and everything. It's also everything together. I'm teaching like how to be your best possible self. And to be your best possible self, you should take care of your mind, body, and soul.
Do you think that you have worked on yourself to the level of feeling content with yourself, that you're able to teach? What do you
Yes,
think?
I do believe that. Yes. I think if you think about if we are ready or not, we never are ready. That's
Yeah.
another thing. I would have been like that before because I'm a perfectionist and I always think that something is not enough. I was
Yeah.
always thinking like that. But right now, when I see that some basic, simple things people don't know, I feel like I have to teach them because sometimes you think that everybody knows that simple things, and then
Yeah.
you realize that it's not like that. So now I'm teaching whatever I know the best. Of course, there is a lot of things I have to learn, and I want to dive deep into that.
Always.
But
That's a given for any
yeah,
human.
and I love all the learning process, and I'm gonna do that, till the end of my life. But for now, I feel like there is a lot of things that I can give people, and they can benefit from that.
So going back to routine, do you think that routine is important?
Routine is very important. Routine is actually had a crucial part of my healing journey. Without my routine, without my morning routine, I want to mention the morning routine especially because how you start your day, it's actually how your day goes, right? So my morning routine made a really crucial part of my healing journey because with being with the two kids, always being in a rush, not having time for anything, I always put my alarm, I remember 1 hour before they wake up. And I started all my practices, whatever is good for me, for my mind, body, and soul. Like I said, I was doing the meditation, I was doing the physical activity. Sometimes I was doing yoga at home. Sometimes I was just walking in our neighborhood, just 15 minutes. I was journaling, reading a book, whatever I could do within that hour. And then my whole day was changing. But before, when I was just starting my day in a rush, and when your alarm rings and you don't know where to start, where to finish, at the end of the day, you feel like your a day went by and you didn't notice, right?
That's true.
Do you have a wellness routine, Edith?
I have, oh my gosh, since the birth of my son, have not stopped what I do on a daily basis. Like, I live off of my routine, and I think it's one of the most key factors of, I'm going to be a little bit of a, when we tend to compliment ourselves, we get a little uncomfortable of it. But I proudly say that I can proudly announce that wherever I am in life right now, and I'm so proud of, is because I was so consistent with waking up at the same time, going to sleep at the same time, and in between doing everything at the same time.
Wow.
And without that, there is no other way to success. I mean, to me, when people say, what about motivation? I think that motivation just doesn't exist it just doesn't happen. Motivation comes from seeing results. You know,
Yeah, I agree with you.
if you do something very small consistently for 3 weeks and you see the result of it, you will gain the motivate. You will learn to motivate yourself by just constantly seeing the result. It just doesn't grow on a tree like that. When they say get motivated,
Yeah.
it's not easy like that. There's a big mental game to that. So routine really helps with stamina, motivation. It really does. And it can be something so small like brushing your teeth at 8 a.m. in the morning for 3 weeks every day.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But since I want you to teach us this. Why is routine so important? That's my first question. Second question, I want to dive into what can we do? What can people do to keep the routine going? Because it's hard,
It's hard.
and people quit and go back to their old habits. So
Right.
I think that's my main concern. Like, there's a certain amount of time that research shows it takes to really what do you call digest the routine
Make it a
system,
habit.
make it a habit.
They usually say it's about 30 days
Yes,
to make it a habit.
I have to disagree with that.
Yeah, it's so different. I
Yeah,
think like
I think
every
a little bit
person,
more than
yeah,
that.
every person is different. And I wanted to say that I agree with you that it's really difficult to maintain a routine. It's not that it's easy and it's for everyone. And I also agree with you that you don't have to hold on to the motivation because motivation comes and goes.
Yes.
I've felt that in my life.
Me
It comes and
too.
goes because sometimes there are days that I really don't have a motivation to
Oh,
do
yeah.
anything. You want to just lie in your bed and do
That's right.
nothing.
That's right.
But then you remember your why. And I want to start with that because I always teach in my wellness classes
Yes.
the exact steps how to maintain the routine, and I want to tell you about that. So the
Please. That
first
would be
thing,
nice.
yes, so the first thing is to know exactly your values and goals, to know your why. That's very important.
Like why you're doing the
Why you're doing
routine.
that, why you want to live a healthy and fulfilling life. You have to remember that because on the days when you don't have motivation, you remember your why I started to do this in the beginning and why I have to continue it. What's my values? What's my goals? What's your big picture? Where you want to go? And on those days, you lean into that, you know? You're
Yeah.
not only thinking about the short term benefits, you see the big picture and you see where you're going. And on the
Yeah.
days when you don't have energy, don't have mood to do something, to go for a walk, to do your physical movement, or to brush your teeth, like you said, like
Yeah.
very simple thing, you just remember why you started in the beginning and what's your bigger picture, where you want to go. That's the first thing. And the second thing, I want to say that that are the small steps. Never underestimate the power of small steps. That's
Yeah.
really important because what I've discovered in my classes, people are saying, for example, they wanted to work out 5 times a week, right? And whenever they don't have time, they just stop doing it and they just wait for a perfect time to uh, to just do it. But if you have time right now, just 1 time a week, then just do 1 time a week, and the rest of the time just to like minimal things, like 5 minutes a day in your pajamas. Just do any movement, a home workout, or just walk in your neighborhood 10 minutes, like whatever you can do to be consistent in your routine. So the power of small steps is really important
It is.
because we always think we want to do this, we're going to do that. And also, I think you will agree that Instagram fools us. You open the Instagram and everybody's doing everything. You see that wellness girls, right? And they are doing like everything. They have this perfect 1 hour routine, and you think you should maintain that, but you don't know their situation, their lifestyle,
Yeah.
their responsibilities. You don't know anything
Oh, I
about
come
that.
across that. I come across that with a lot of moms that I work with, and it's really unfortunate this view that they see
Yeah.
and this self-judgment that they take from that view. And I always tell them, look, everybody has such a different lifestyle. Some of the moms that I work with, realistically speaking, they're on their own.
Yeah.
Like they don't have a lot of help, and they have like 3 4 children. I genuinely mean that. So I think that why that you're talking about is so important because it can connect with these mothers that have this real unrealistic expectations of themselves by just viewing other wellness
Right.
women on Instagram
Yeah.
and comparing themselves. I want to really quickly dive into the why because it is one of the most important
Of
questions
course.
in my consulting firm as well. I think it's important for any human being in any business to know their why, any person to know their why. How do you help a mother or a man or a father, anyone who is struggling with their why? Like if they don't know their why, how can we help them discover?
You know, I believe that every answer is within us.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a therapist, it's not a health coach, it's not anybody knows better than you.
Yes.
So what I teach in my how I work with the clients, I don't give them information because you know information now it is everywhere, right? But people are still struggling. So I help them with their transformation, and I give them the safe space where they can find what's right for them
Yeah.
and to move from there, you know, when they have the safe space to talk and to see what's going on with them. Because sometimes, even when we are at home, we are not honest with ourselves, right? We just need that safe space to open up and to see. And I truly believe that every answer is within us. When you're going to dive deep into yourself, you're going to find the answers. And that's how I'm working.
What answers do you usually get? What are the whys of most women and men?
It's different. It's of
I'm
course
sure.
different. Yeah. For example, I would say for me how it was. My why is to be my best self for my kids. That's my why because I want to be an example for them. I want to not teach them something, but to show them. And you see, I've read somewhere that says that the best education that you can give your children is working on yourself and to be your best self. So that's what I'm thinking. And my big why is to be my best self for my kids and to be an example for them. And mostly for mothers is like that because they want to be the best for their families, for their kids.
I
Yeah.
think so too. I think it's so important to model that behavior.
Yeah.
We can always tell. I mean, look, we're close to the same age. But when I look back and I think about like moms in the 1980s in Armenia or any other country in the 1990s, I rarely see them take care of themselves, even now. I don't think that it was such a priority,
Yeah.
So we grew up not watching that.
Yes, that's why we didn't take care of ourselves as well.
Yeah.
That's why I came to that when I had like two kids and stayed at home. It was always about them because my mom is still making everything about me and my brother. So they are doing everything for the kids and not taking care of themselves. But now it's different. Now in
Yeah.
this modern world, it's really it's not only bad things happening. The good thing is that everybody's watching to each other and seeing that they should take care of themselves,
Yeah.
and to be a role model for their kids.
Yeah, I
Because
think
kids catch,
they
they
do.
they just catch whatever they see, even though you're gonna tell them like 1,000 times something. If they're gonna, for example, read a book, if they don't see you reading a book, they're not gonna read a book.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's always about modeling that behavior.
yeah.
So what you're saying is that you can still want to take care of your kids, but at the same time model that behavior of taking care of yourself so that you
Of
can be a
course.
better example.
Yes, of course. You are not being selfish doing that. That's what we are thinking. I was thinking the same thing in the beginning.
Really?
Yes, I was thinking that I'm selfish, that I'm making regular breakfast for me and I don't have time, to do this or that. But then you realize that if you're not going to be your best self, especially when women has chronic illnesses, then you have to take care of yourself because I wasn't my best at all. There were days where I was just laying in bed and couldn't do anything. So at that time, I was remembering those bad days and not seeing already so selfish doing some things for myself. Everything started from there to put myself first. It's really something maybe we listen a lot to. Take care of yourself. The self care is very important. Put yourself first. But honestly, when you do that and you feel that, you see the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So tell us how people can develop routine. There's a lot of men and women watching right now that don't know where to begin and how to
Uh-huh.
form a routine.
Yeah. So first of all, I said to know your values and goals, to start
The
with
why.
the why. And then the second was the small steps. The third one is to create a plan. You should have an exact plan how you should implement that into your daily life. For example, if you want to do that in the morning, in the evening, or during your day, you should have an exact plan how to do that, to create that plan. Then it's very important to track your progress at the end of each week. That's very important because what people usually do when they fail at some point,
Yeah.
someday, they just stop doing it. That's another reason that people are not developing like consistent routines because they just don't see the results. And when you track your progress at the end of each week and you see where you were and where you are now, and you celebrate your small wins, that's another thing which is very important in creating routines, to have it for a lifetime, not for a short term. Another important thing I would mention, to be flexible. For example, they could be days that you don't have time to do that. you are usually doing like just say 1 hour routine, right? But that day your kid is sick, if you are a mom, if you are a man, for example, you have this work deadline that you should do, and you can't follow your regular routine. That's okay. You just do 5 to 10 minutes. So being flexible to the situations, whatever is going on in your life, it's also really important. So you can just take it a day, it's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
I feel like routine also can be very addicting. Like it becomes such a habit where you don't. And this is, I think, one of the parts where I wanted to dive into, because being somebody who is all about the routines, I find myself sometimes saying to myself, oh my God, like I didn't do this. I didn't. And I know that that balance is okay. But what advice would you give the people that do form this routine and don't have time for that? So you're saying be flexible, but it could be very anxiety provoking for some people. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, from a personal experience too.
Yeah, from a personal experience, just don't be hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, self-compassion. I would say the next step is self-compassion. To have that self-compassion for yourself, just don't be hard on yourself, and don't think that everything that's happening in your life, it's
Yeah.
your fault. Everything can happen, and you just like imagine if your friend is coming to you and is saying you that this thing's happening in my life, and what you're going to answer. You're going to tell them that it's okay, this will pass, you're a human. You should have the same self-compassion to yourself as you have to your friend, because what we usually do, we are compassionate to everyone else but not to ourselves. We self-judge, right? We think that everything is our fault, and if we are failing at something, then that's the end of the world, but it's not. Yeah.
I think one thing I would love to have people really take away from this podcast is to understand that this whole routine, the wellness routine, is all about really self care and really putting yourself for, and really just nurturing yourself.
Yeah.
Because amongst all these things that women and men have to do, like men have to be the providers, women are the nurturers, taking care of the house, baking bread, this, that, the routine gets lost sometimes. When do you ever find the time to really do these things for yourself? Because it gets so lost sometimes. And I have so much empathy for women who have this question. I don't know. I get this question asked a lot.
I want to say in my example, for example,
Yes.
before pregnancy, I had different routine. And then
Really?
after that, I'm just taking everything easy. You should just, like I said, it's again the same thing. We're coming to the same thing, to be flexible. And when you slow down in life, you just being mindful on whatever you are doing, and you're not always in a rush. That's a lot of mind work. It's not just one day work that people can do. It's been like a couple of years already since I'm working on every detail of my life, that I have this slow life right now. I'm not rushing anywhere.
Even when your house is not clean, you're not rushing? You know
I
that's
love
a problem
I love
of
a
all
clean
moms.
house. I
I know. But why I wanted to bring this
I
up,
love a
because I
clean
know
house.
the men and women watching this, particularly the wives of men, they're gonna be like, my house is so like I don't. It's I think that's such an essential part of the lives of women right now. It's that clean house. They'll drop brushing their teeth. They'll drop eating the breakfast just to have that clean home. That's a level of anxiety.
No, you know what's my routine is. The first thing, I'm taking care of myself. The first thing when I waking up, I have my hour. If it's an hour or 30 minutes or 5 minutes, I'm doing something
Or a couple
first.
of hours, right? Yeah.
Yeah, first for me, something for me. If it's
What do you do for yourself? What's your routine like?
my routine, like before pregnancy, like I
Yeah,
said,
now.
it's like, yeah, now it's like I'm waking up before the kids, I'm doing my meditation.
I see that on your stories.
Yeah,
meditate.
I meditate, and it's not like every day. I want to say that it's not. And if one day I'm not doing it, I'm not feeling like guilty of not doing it, and I'm not feeling anxiety of not doing the meditation. If one day I can do the meditation, for example, kids woke up before me, I would just go for a walk when everybody is there. I would just go for a walk for 15 minutes. Or I can do anything, I can make a green juice for me and drink it, something to nurture either my mind, my body, or my soul, anything.
So
It's
even
not
if
always everything together, you know.
So
Sometimes
even if you have, sorry to cut you off
it's
with so
okay.
much sugar, and as we say in Armenian, when you have all these things, and I want this to be very clear because I want people to hear this. So even if you have so many things to do at home, you still say, no, I'm not going to do whatever I have to do in the house. I'm more important. I'm going to make my green juice. I'm going to take my deep breaths. I come first, not my house.
Yes, absolutely.
That's absolutely important for you.
Absolutely
How did you
important.
get to that level of that acceptance?
Because I already saw when I'm not doing it, what kind of person I'm becoming.
And
I
what
don't
kind of a
like
person do you think you were becoming?
with anxiety, more nervous, yelling at kids, you know,
Miserable, right?
sometimes, not having patience with them, not liking myself, you know. And then the rest of the day, I can't concentrate on anything, or just the day is going so fast, you just don't notice it.
Yeah.
So
You
it's
become a really unhappy, miserable person,
yeah,
right?
and when I did that too, and I saw myself what kind of person I'm becoming, and I don't like myself that way, you know.
It's understandable.
Yeah, yeah. And when you see that, and when you are conscious, and when you see that you really don't want to be that person and you want to be your best self, I already learned that lesson for me, that for me to be in my best self, I have to do something for me, even a small thing in the beginning of the day for me, just for me. And then after that, of course, I clean the house, because if my house is a mess, I can concentrate on doing anything. So
Yeah.
that comes after. I clean the house, but also if, for example, one day I don't have time to do the dishes, I can leave it for the next day.
How do you live with that? How do you live with
Very
just
good.
leaving the dishes
Very good.
comfortable?
You know, I want to say that was the thing that helped me to get rid of my perfectionism.
Yes.
Yes.
How did you
Exactly
do
the
it?
dishes, because before it was not like that. Even 12 a.m. in the evening, I would clean the dishes and then go back to bed tired, not reading a book
Yeah.
for my kids, not having time for them, not doing the evening routine for them, because the dishes were more important for
But
me at that
Zhenya,
time.
that we smile about it because we worked on it. We're at that stage where I don't care. I could leave the house dirty for 3 days as long as my kids and I and my husband are important. But there's so many moms who are in this situation. That's why I think that it's so important to bring this up because yeah, look at that. It's relatable content. We were those women that cleaned everything and went to bed dirty just so
Yeah.
everything is tidy up.
Yeah, I did. And I was more nervous when I was like doing everything. I was so tired. I couldn't even talk to my husband, couldn't read a book for my kids. So I was a different person, but everything was super clean. So now I know my house is like tidy. I really like a tidy house. But the dishes, it's the one thing that I'm really doing. The dishes can wait. It's not like mandatory for me to do it. I'm trying to do it every day, especially when I have time, of course. It's not that I'm intentionally putting it away.
course.
But there are days.
You prioritized.
There are days when we go out, for example, with the kids, and I come back home in the evening and I don't have time to do the dishes. I would rather do the nighttime routine for my kids, read a book for them, talk to them about their day, then do the dishes. But before, my priority was the dishes, you know, other than doing all that.
Let me ask this, and I don't know if you would agree with this, but from a therapeutic standpoint, I think that sometimes women and men can focus on exterior activities, like the motive of the house being clean, because it's much more easier to clean up what's in front of you versus what's inside.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned from my experience. Like it's so much easier to clean, wipe this, wipe that, and it's so hard to really dive in and clean and wipe
yourself.
whatever. Yeah, it's really because it's a lot of work and sometimes we're not even conscious of it. So of course women have these and men have these OCD tendencies, not even a diagnosis, but speaking from a cleaning perspective. Of course women and men are going to put the focus on cleaning everything because it's so much easier to clean objects versus what's really killing you on the inside.
I never thought about it, but I agree with you.
You see what I'm saying?
It's like you put in a bandage, you know, on and you're not taking care of yourself. So
Mhm.
yeah, you're right. I agree with you.
It's so easy. Like, look, we don't have a clean house. You go in an hour, boom, vacuum this, that. It's easy. But the work that you have to do on
Of
yourself
course.
takes months and sometimes years.
It took me months and years
Mine
to
too.
come to this,
Too.
because even people who know me, they knew me very emotional person. I'm really emotional, but now I can control my emotions. I can control my emotions. I can control whatever I talk, because I have that peace inside of me, and that
Yeah.
peace doesn't just come like overnight. It just really, it's a hard work that you do for yourself. And you're right, it's not just an easy clean home. You're just taking care of yourself, and you are putting a
Yeah.
lot of time for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why when we talk about routine and falling from routine and going back to old habits, because it's so much easier to clean what you see versus what you feel.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you.
And these anxieties, the depression,
Hmm.
the miserable lives that people are living, it's not easy living and feeling those things. So it's
Hmm.
like, let me clean everything else. It'll give me a temporary relief for like a day or 24
Hmm.
hours, but then you're back to feeling crappy again. So not a lot of people are willing to work on themselves, which is so unfortunate because I think everybody's such a beautiful flower in their own way,
Yes, they are,
you
and
know?
because they don't want to look to the reality.
Yeah.
They don't want to look to
It's
the reality.
hard.
It's hard because
It's
sometimes it's really painful. You would
Yeah.
agree. I think you
Oh
would have a
yeah.
lot of patients, right?
Oh
They
yeah.
they don't want to look to the reality
Mhm.
because it's really painful for them. But when you do that deep work, and then after, the life becomes so much beautiful, so much
Yeah.
easier. Life is really very easy. We make it very difficult,
We
honestly. It's
do.
really easy.
You're
Now,
right.
what I see, like, there are days, like before, how I used to be, I always were looking to do something fun in order to feel that happiness, to have that dopamine. But
Yeah.
whenever, for example, one weekend we didn't do anything fun, it was already mood change for me. I didn't feel good about that. But then after doing the inner work, you realize that happiness is within you, within yourself. It's
Yeah.
not somewhere else. It's not in uh, some external things. It's just within you, and
It
it's
is
very
within you.
simple. You can just be at home, just watch a movie with your family, cook a nutritious food for them, and feel that happiness. You don't need anything. You don't need any material things. You don't need any, expensive things in your life in order to feel
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I think that society just, I had on a sergeant yesterday and we were talking about how everything just changed so much. Social media just completely washed away the hearts of all women.
Hmm.
It's so competitive now. Everyone is competing against each other, and it's not even a healthy competition.
It's toxic.
It's very toxic, and it took away a lot of happiness. And before being are you a stay-home mom, by the way?
No.
I think, well, I mean, you're a mom. It doesn't matter. Either way, you go
Yeah.
home and you have to be a mom. But before, like, being a mom was such a graceful position for a woman to
Hmm.
possess, but now it's frowned upon because we have to fit in the norm,
Because now
you
what you
know?
see in Instagram, right? The moms who have 3 kids, who are a successful businesswoman, who are doing everything, taking care of themselves, always in fit, and you think that
Yeah.
their life is so much easier than yours, and
Yeah.
you don't have time to do all this. You know what I was thinking at it when I stayed home with my 2 kids and I was just a stay-home mom, that how you said, I was feeling the same thing, that I'm not enough.
Yeah.
I was
I
thinking that I'm not
I
enough.
understand.
I'm doing the being mother is not enough. But now, after doing all this work,
It's the most important.
it's the greatest title of my life to be a mom. Other than being a health coach, or to have these degrees, to have that, or whatever career I would achieve in the future, being mother would be my greatest role.
Yeah, the biggest
And
career.
now I understand that. But before, it was not enough for me, because I was always used to achieve something, because that's how my parents taught me, to do something, to achieve something. And
Yeah.
then after I realized that that's enough. That's more than enough, because that's the hardest job in the world.
It is.
It is.
I'm
Yeah.
a stay-home mom from Sunday to Thursday. I work Fridays and Saturdays, and I'll tell you, it is so hard.
It's harder than to work outside,
So
right? It's harder even.
I mean, my kids are beating me. It's so tough. They're very good kids. It's not because they're spoiled or anything, but it's
How
just
old are
hard.
they?
Nazani just turned 1. Well, she's 16 months. So, yeah, May she turned 1, and Noi is 11. And it's tough. They told me that
It
the
could
age
be.
gap would be easier because Noi is older, but no, like he has his own. He has studying, he has tests, he has homeworks, he has activities. I have to, it's a lot. So I don't know. I think I praise all moms, but moms have such a dear place in my heart where that's why I always want to have a guest to teach them something, even dads, but particularly moms, because my audience majority are moms. But I always want to teach them something to help them to this wellness.
Yeah.
And if it's routine that we can get them to do, let's get them to do it.
Yeah, and being consistent in the routine, that's very important. Yeah, is something the mothers would take from this conversation, to put themselves first. Maybe
Yeah.
they've heard that a lot, but that's really important. When you put yourself first, you're being an example for your kid.
Yeah.
For example, if you have a daughter, right? When your daughter will grow up and you will see her doing the same thing that you're doing now, would you be happy? You should ask that question to yourself. Or what kind of woman you want to see your daughter to grow up to be. Of course you want to see her happy, to live in a fulfilling and balanced life, not to just take care of the kids and the family. And that kind of mother you should be now for your kids, to be that example for themselves. And when they see a happy mom, really, when you are living a fulfilling and balanced life, the kids are thriving, honestly. I've seen that in my kids.
Yeah. I was reading gosh, I forgot, and I know people are going to ask me for the article. I'll try to find it and post it, I promise. But I was reading that the most successful kids come from, guess where? What do you think
Happy moms?
the mother's smile?
Yeah. Yeah, I would guess.
Yeah, like what contributes to a child's success is the smile of the mother, the size of the smile of the mother. I think
And
that's
that
such a
all
good
depends how
foundation.
much time you're dedicating to yourself, how much self-care you're doing, what kind of routine you have.
Yeah.
That's all very important. And also one more thing I want to suggest to moms as well, to always ask for help. We all, especially Armenian moms, we want to do everything by ourselves. I'm still that kind of mom, but I know where I need help and I can ask for help in that case. But always ask for help. If it's a friend, if it's your mother, if it's a specialist, a therapist, a coach, always ask for help, because it's not sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength when you ask for help.
It is. It's the
Because
hardest.
if I wouldn't ask for help, like a couple of years ago, I wouldn't be here living this fulfilling and balanced life. It's very important to make that decision to yourself, and to ask for help whenever you feel like you need that.
I think one of the things that I've learned during my lifetime is 3 the most difficult words. I'm sorry, I love you, and I need help.
That's very powerful.
Yeah, how difficult it is to ask for help. You
It's
always
it's difficult,
Oh yeah.
especially when
Oh yeah.
how we grew up in Armenia, always to do everything on your own. That's how my mom taught
mom
us,
too. My mom
to do everything on your own. To
because they did everything on their own.
yes, yes,
So we
yeah.
kind of picked that up and we learned that's it. That's the way. But it's like no.
And even if you are in a worse situation, you never ask for help, right? You feel like it's your you should do everything on yourself. You don't even ask for help sometimes to your husband, right? A lot of women are like that. But it's okay to do everything together. It's okay to ask your mom or a friend or a professional for help, because you can't do everything on your own. that the mother should understand that as well.
I think husbands also need to understand that as well, because it's very when there's this obscene amount of expectation on women, it's so hard. I think women, when we were talking about the success of the kids, which is the smile of the mother, the husband also has a part of that. He contributes to that smile.
Of course,
You know,
of
so
course.
so I think women also are in this position of, unfortunately, it's heartbreaking to say, but there's so many women in different cultures that are not really happy in marriages, and no, this taking care of themselves, no matter how much you preach, no matter how much I preach, it's going to be so hard for them to reach because of this really unhappy place. And it's so unfortunate, and it's so hard to encourage women to really take care of themselves when the only thing they see is, if my husband's happy and good, I'll be happy and good.
Yeah,
No,
that's a wrong mentality.
it
But
is the wrong
even the
mentality.
relationship, right? It's hard work, I want to say. It's really hard work.
It
You
is
have to work on everything. If I see in my life, like I work on everything. I work in my relationship with
constantly,
my
right?
husband. I work with the relationship with my kids, with my mother, with my friends, with the community that I've created, and I'm
Oh
serving
yeah.
my community. And everything is a hard work. Like nothing comes easy. When you see a happily married couple, you think that they just happy like that. No, it's really a hard work. You intentionally create the joyful days for you too, right? You create a date nights, or you create a space where you can talk together, and
Oh yeah.
everything comes from a decision. That's what I want to say. If you're going to wake up one day and make a decision to change your life, to create your life how you want it to be, it can be like that. If you believe in that, it's
Yeah.
really going to happen, because everything starts from our minds. It's really true. Our mind is
Yeah.
very powerful. If you're going to believe that you're going to have that fulfilling and happy life, you're going to manifest that into your life.
Do you
That's so
believe in
true.
manifestations?
Yes. And
Have you manifested anything in your lifetime?
yes, I'm still constantly manifesting. Yeah.
Did you manifest this podcast?
Uh,
You said you did last time.
yes. Unconsciously, maybe unconsciously, because I was always thinking about it.
The first time I met you, you're like, "Oh, am I ready?" I'm like, "Of course, yes." See, the conversation's going so wonderful,
Yeah.
and I'm so glad you're here.
Thank
So,
you so
tell me
much.
about this manifestation. What really led you to believe in it? Because some people think it's magic of some sort, but I
Um,
think it's one of the most important skills that a person needs to
It's
learn.
not magic. First of all, you have to, the meditation helps with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. When you are already trusting your intuition, where you are regularly meditating, it helps with that. And the manifesting is like, it's just so simple. It's just seeing the big picture where
Yeah.
you want to go. But then the most important part of manifesting is to let it go, to surrendering. After manifesting, you should surrender and to give it to the universe, to the God, whatever you name it, and
Yeah.
to trust that everything will happen on its own. You're not just manifesting and think every day that this is going to happen, or when this is going to happen. You just surrender and just let it go. That's the secret ingredient in the
Yeah.
manifestation.
Yeah. Do you believe in God?
Yes, of course I do. I do. And some people, think if you are meditating, you don't believe in God. Have you
That's why.
heard that?
Yeah. It's a bad, it's against Christianity. Yoga, they say yoga is
Nowadays
sinful,
I
and
don't believe in that, because I believe in God. I believe in God's plan. I always pray every day before
yeah.
bed, but that doesn't go against to do meditation in the morning, because meditation is first for me is a breath work, and breath work is regulating our nervous system. If you want to I can tell you one more thing about the wellness routine, like the two most important things that you should take care of yourself. That is your gut and your nervous system. So for nervous system, you
Oh yeah.
have to do a nervous system regulation techniques. So what are those techniques? You do yoga, you do meditation, you do journaling, you do a lot of things which can regulate your nervous system. So for me, meditation, first of all, is a breath work. It's just a breath work when you don't think about anything and you just breathing.
Yeah.
And that helps to with your anxiety, with your mood swings, with everything. With you have a better sleep, better mood, and
Yes,
less
absolutely.
anxiety. So yeah, so it doesn't go against each other. That's what I think. It's very important.
Yeah, I am a deep believer in meditation.
Yeah, you
I
do,
absolutely
and you believe in God, so it's
I absolutely believe in God. But there's something here that I wanted to share that there's so many different levels of meditation. People think that you have to sit there in a chair and just close your eyes and breathe. You can meditate while you're cleaning. You can meditate while you're standing. You can meditate while you're speaking to someone. Everything, meditation's all around you. It doesn't necessarily, I don't want to scare people to think that that's the only level of meditate. You can meditate however fits. Like I remember when I first started meditating about, I would say like 10 years ago, I would look at a rose and I would, because I
that's a
found
good technique.
it's a very good, and I found this technique from a book I read called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Have you read that book?
No, I haven't.
So that book is, and my personal experience is the reason why I do what I do today. But I have so many notes in that book, and one of the monks in the book teaches the attorney who's, the story is all about this really famous like billionaire attorney who just women, cars, just flashy life in New York, just drops everything and goes to Tibet and becomes a monk. And it's his story of why that happened to him and why he got there. But the story was teaching you how you can just stare in a rose and look at the petals and just focus on each petal with your breath. And it's fascinating how it's teaching you not to think of anything.
Of course, you are concentrating on one thing.
One thing. And that technique I still have. I have fresh flowers in my house all the time, particularly in my bedroom, there's a rose. And when I'm in a funky place, I take the rose and I sit on the floor and I just look. I don't close my eyes or anything. I just stare in the petals, and it is such a liberating, calming feeling.
It just that silence, that solitude.
Yeah. It's special.
It's very special. Yes, that's one thing we should do in our daily life as well, in the mornings especially, to have that calm, peaceful energy which will go throughout the day, to just find that moments of stillness, that moments of solitude, and just be with ourselves, because at that moment you are just with yourself, right? And that's so important. You just don't listen. Sometimes you don't even need to listen any music or any podcast, anything. There is walking meditation as well. You just walk and you notice every single thing around you, every flower, every leaf of the tree, every noise, and not to listen to any music or any podcast, anything. You just be with all that around you. And I know that you bake sourdough bread as well, right? I do too. So that's another type of meditation.
Oh, I love that.
When you do that, that's so calming, so peaceful. So I think you should not have just one thing.
That's right.
Which keep you, in your present moment.
Yeah.
You should have a lot of things during the day.
I
Even
think
washing
women
the
meditate.
dishes.
That's right. It's a form of meditation.
Yeah.
I think women are meditating. They don't even know it.
Yeah.
When I was doing my practicum hours in therapy school, I worked in an eating disorder unit. It's called Reasons. And I finished my 3,000 hours there. And I was working in the inpatient department, which is the most crucial. It's very difficult. So I was a therapist there, and I led group classes of like 25, 30, sometimes 40 men, women, kids. And so I was thinking about how I could get them to eat, because that's your goal, right? When you're working with human beings that are under 100 pounds, your goal is to keep them alive and to have them eat and not be afraid of food. So I was like, let me pick an orange. And since I love meditating with a rose, let me help my clients, the ones that are assigned to me during group, let's meditate with an orange. And guess what we did? It's pure silence. We started peeling the orange And we just started talking about where this orange came from, where it traveled from. So that took their mind off the fear of eating that orange.
Of course,
Okay.
yeah.
And then we cut the orange with our hands. Okay.
And
We
you
put it
smell it,
and then
right?
smell it. It's mindfulness, it's mindful technique.
Yeah.
Some people got triggered by the smell of the orange, some people didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But then we put the orange in our mouth and then we bite the orange and then the water splashed into your mouth and we would talk about the water splashing and how many months it took for this orange to grow. So that is a deep level of meditation that you're teaching people.
That's a
called being
beautiful
it is.
mindfulness practice.
It is, and it's so simple. But the whole idea, I think essentially where, I don't know if you agree, but where women can start is just really noticing the items they have in their house.
Yes, it's
I
very
think it's
important too.
important.
As you told that, I remember that in my previous workshop, the theme was mindful and healthy eating. And what I did, I brought fruits, and each one should pick one fruit and then bite it, smell it, feel it,
Oh my
and
gosh.
write down about that. There was a beautiful mindfulness practice that we did, and then to draw how that fruit came, like who was the farmer, like where it came from. And I was like teaching that in order to start, eating mindfully, to not eat emotionally, or the eating
fast.
fast and everything. You should just take it really slow, and to feel the smell, to feel the taste and everything. So yeah, that's a beautiful mindfulness practice as well.
I think so too. I think that it's very important
And
to
it
be
keeps you
aware.
to be present, not to do everything in a rush.
Yeah. Also, one other thing that do you know Tucker Carlson?
Huh?
Tucker, do you watch Tucker Carlson? He's an amazing reporter, but he had on a doctor. She was talking about how she shops at farmers market every Sunday, prepares her food, but she prays.
I love that.
She prays her on her food, and how she gives these food a good energy. How this food is going to go into her system, and it's going to create all these new cells and heal all unhealed cells, and how nurturing this food is going to be. I mean, I was just fascinated. Like, where did we stop? Like, we're not mindful of anything anymore. We just shove the food down our throats, chew quickly, eat quickly, and just go and do the dishes, and then this.
Right.
We're not mindful of any of these beautiful moments anymore. Something so simple to live as eating provides, we're not even mindful of that anymore. That's just so sad to me. Like, that's today's society. It's not just in California. It's everywhere in the world. Except our grandparents.
Yeah.
Except our grandparents. I don't have any grandparents anymore, but I remember they did a phenomenal job being just present. My grandma would take about 45 minutes to eat. Zhenya, I'm not kidding you. Everybody would be out of that. I swear on anything.
I bet she has the best digestion.
She has a best. She would chew her food.
That's so important.
This woman, my mom's mom, everybody would be done. Even if it's like a party event and we would be sitting there for hours, she would still not be finished with her food. She would, she had like a little patar in her hand with the honey and the butter in this hand. She would be eating other things. Very slow eater, but probably the most mindful eaters. I was fascinated with this woman and the way she ate.
But what we were taught, Edith, that to do everything quickly.
Yeah, we were like, hurry up. And her kids were like, what, But I think as time grew on, as she got older, they learned to leave her alone. But she was just so mindful in anything this woman did. She was knitting. That's a form of meditation,
Right, correct.
As we call it, the EMDR therapy, right? It's rapid eye movement. It's a form of therapy when you knit. So she was just so mindful in anything she did. And I'm like, what? This is their generation. What happened? It's just changed drastically, where we're rushing like crazy mad women all the time.
Yes, because the time is never enough for anybody. If you can
But
listen,
it is, right?
Yes, it is enough. But if you're gonna ask any person, they're gonna say that 24 hours is not enough for me. But it's not true.
That's not true.
When you slow down, when you are really mindful of whatever you are doing, you see that you have the whole 24 hours a day, not just a 24 hours. So it's about your intention, how you see things. And you mentioned that the woman should see the small things in the room, right? So that's another beautiful practice of mindfulness, to be present, to notice the small things. Another thing I would suggest, the gratitude practice. And
Oh, one
for
of the most healing things in the
one
world.
of the most healing. I was the one who had that in me. It's by nature. But if you don't have that, if you don't see the good things, you always compare yourself with others. And if it's, something great is not happening in your life, then you think something is missing and you don't feel happy. I would suggest to do the gratitude practice like every day for some period of time. Uh, at the time when it's become a habit already for yourself. And how to do that, either to do that in the morning, either to do that in the evening, just to write down 3 simple things that you are grateful for that day. And when you have that questions in front of you, you start thinking, right?
Of course you do.
What happened today? Even if something great didn't happen, for example, you just had a very tasty meal in the morning, or your kid just came to you and kissed you and said how much he loved you, or you just walked in your neighborhood and saw a beautiful flower, something very simple, and you are starting to notice in those things. When you have that questions in front of you, you already ask yourself every day, and that way you're starting noticing the small things. That's another practice, because people hear a lot of things, right? Now information is everywhere. They can listen, okay, you should be grateful, this or that, but there are really practical intervention, practical exercises that you should do every day. That's a work. You should work on those things every day to maintain that. It's
Yeah,
not
that's the
just
routine.
that's the routine. We
Absolutely.
again come to routine, because if you are not consistent, if you don't have that in your life, then you're going to do one thing one day and that's it. And it's not going to change your life. You're going to live the same life that you were living before. But if you want to change your life, change the quality of your life, you should start doing the work. That's a lot of work, because people sometimes see a woman who is like in this peace, in this living this happy life. They think that it's happening overnight, or they just got lucky. But honestly, I want women to see those women as a woman who did a lot of work, because there is no woman that or a man who just had all that overnight. They did a lot of work.
Yeah, and it
And I
just
want
looks so
them to
easy.
not be lazy and to do the work, because only in
Yeah,
that case they're gonna see the results and they're gonna change the quality of their life.
exactly.
Yeah.
To see the result. Yeah, absolutely. And I absolutely um, adore what you said in the beginning, because it ties up with routine. And I can't put my finger on it now because it was so important. I wanted to bring it up. I think you said, oh, here it is. I think you said, let all men and women think about who they are when they don't nurture themselves early in the morning, what
Yeah.
they become. What kind of a
Yeah.
person are you when you don't have your breakfast and when you don't have your coffee and you're immediately rushing to get this done, that clean, that this kid there, that kid there,
Who
and
are
that's
you
so important.
becoming?
Who
That's
are you
very.
becoming?
Who
Yeah.
are you becoming? It's about that. It's
Yeah.
not about what you are doing at this moment. Who are you becoming? To see the big picture, where you see yourself, what kind of man or what kind of woman you see yourself in the future, and to work on that every day, to be that person, to become that person.
Yeah. Do you also believe that if you want to become a certain person, you also have to
Yes, I do believe in
act
that.
like that,
I
right?
remember that
It's a
I
form of
always,
meditation too.
yes, it's like manifesting too. It's like form
Yes,
of
it is.
manifestation.
Yes, it
I
is.
remember that I was thinking about this life, that I'm not working in the office. I'm just have this free schedule where I can take care of my kids. I can do the job that I really love to do, which will be my purpose. And because nowadays when I'm working every day, I don't feel like working, because I'm following my purpose. I'm just doing whatever I like to do. It's not that I'm forcing something
Yeah.
myself. So that's another thing important. And yeah, I remember that I was seeing that big picture, seeing me being the healthiest person, be healthy, be patient with my kids. Because when you are tired, I want to say, when you are tired, when you are doing all these things and you don't do anything for yourself, you can't be the best mom. You can't.
Or best person in
Or the best
general.
person for
Yeah.
your mother, for your friend, for your best wife, for your husband, like in general, like you said. You
Yeah.
can't be that. You should do something for yourself. Even if, that's what I want to say, you don't have time for some reason in the morning to do that, just find some moments throughout the day to be with yourself, just you and you. That's very important.
I think so
And to
too.
listen to yourself, like what are your
Man,
thoughts?
any person needs to do that, right?
Yeah, any person, everybody needs to do that.
Yeah.
That's very important thing, to just be with yourself, to find that moment of stillness, and to just like
Yeah.
5 minutes just to sit with you, and not always to rush to on your to-do list and to check mark the things that you have to do. I used to be that person, who always, I still have to-do list, but it's, it's the to-do list that I already know in my mind that what I should do, but it's not mandatory. I just, right now, I live, like, go with the flow. That's the easiest
And
way.
that is the that I wanna for the people that are watching that are probably thinking, okay, I want to learn. I want to, how do I want to make this clear. And Zhenya, you can disagree or agree that to get to that level of not having those check marks checked out is okay.
Yes.
Because when you didn't check all those check marks, in between you had time to drink your green juice, to meditate, you had time to take a shower, you had time to do you. So I want people to genuinely understand that, to not care that you didn't do your dishes that night and to be okay with it, it's going to take work.
Yes,
It's not, I promise to everyone, it's not an overnight thing. People think that you're that way, it's because it just happened. But you were in therapy for how long?
For 6 months in
There you
therapy, and
go.
then after that, I
As
did the
I.
work on
There you go.
myself.
There you go. So years. And I'm not
Years
saying
of
it's going to
work.
be like this for everybody, but just for anyone watching, know that it is going to take some time for you to be at the level
It
when
is.
there's dirty clothes and you just don't want to pick it up. When you go sleep, you'll sleep contentfully. It's going to take time for you to get there.
Yes, it is. And I
And
will.
it's
I
okay.
wanted to say that there is a magic pill that they gonna happen with everybody overnight, but it's not. It's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah.
I don't want people to be disappointed very quickly. And by doing all those steps that I told them, like to celebrate their small wins,
Yeah.
to have self-compassion to themselves, to ask for help if they need that help, to have that big picture in front of them always, like they can do a vision board for themselves. They can put in front of them every day where they are going. When you have that picture, big picture in front of you, you don't give up, because like you said in the beginning, motivation is nothing. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline what helps us. You should
That's
have
right.
that discipline, and doing something consistently will eventually make a habit, right? Your routine will
Yeah.
be a habit, and one day
Exactly.
you will look back and see that you are doing things not even thinking about it. It's not already taking a lot of time on your mind to, okay, I have to meditate. For example, I woke up. You just do that because that's a habit already.
Yeah. When
Like you
it's a
brush your
habit.
teeth,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's a habit. You just brush your teeth, and doing the other things that you do for after a while, I would say it's not 30 days, it's about 6 months. It
Yeah.
took me about
I
6
agree.
months
No.
to
I wouldn't
make
say.
my routine
Yeah.
a habit already,
Yeah.
which I already can do, like just
Yeah,
close my eyes.
100%. I
Yes.
don't think that it's 30 days yet. I think it's
Yes.
a little bit more than that. And going back to the discipline, I want to say that I've also looked into discipline so hard and studied it so hard, because that's part of my work. And I've discovered that discipline, the true definition is how much you truly love yourself. That's one thing I can say about discipline.
I agree.
It's like, how much do you genuinely love and respect yourself? If it's not much, then discipline is going to be not for you. But if you think that you deserve at least 80%, then you're definitely going to have a good time with discipline. It's really about how much you love yourself.
And it's very important to love
Oh, it
yourself
is.
first and to put yourself first. And you would agree that a lot of women are not like that. And when they see women who love themselves, they think that, oh, that woman is selfish. She just loves herself.
Well, they don't understand the meaning behind. I think they're
Yes,
taking it from a different perspective.
yes, I agree.
You
But
know?
every woman should love herself first, like everybody, not only women, a
Yeah.
man as well.
No, absolutely. And then I think that a lot of relationships fail because women have these unrealistic expectations of women or men to make them happy.
Of course,
Like
yes.
I don't want to put that on my husband. It's not his job to make me happy.
Yes, I
It
agree.
you know, it's our job to do good in the relationship and to grow with each other, but why would I put that responsibility on a person? If I can't make myself happy, if I'm not happy, why throw that responsibility on someone else?
And
That's not fair.
yes, and also I would add that if your husband, for example, sees that you are happy just by yourself, he gonna do everything to make you
Oh,
happy as well.
everything to double
But
that.
if they gonna
Yeah.
see that you don't love yourself, you don't put yourself first, they're gonna take advantage of that.
Yes.
Even the
And
most
people
honest
everywhere
men,
too.
even
That's
the
right.
most honest
No,
men.
I agree.
So they should see that you love yourself, that you put yourself first, and they're
Yes.
gonna give you more love, and everything will double up with
Listen,
that. Yeah.
your mother-in-law needs to know that you love yourself. Your sister-in-laws need to know that you love yourself. Your husband needs to. Your parents need to. Everybody will feel the lack of love you have for yourself because you'll be walking around with nasty, miserable energy. It needs women and men need to do work on themselves for sure. There's no other way.
But
There's no other
sometimes
way.
they don't think that it comes from there, right? When
Yeah.
you see with the positive energy, I don't know what they think, but they think it's like easy. Okay, everything maybe is good in your life. That's why you have this positive energy. But I could have like the most difficult days in my life, but I still give a positive energy to
Yes.
people because
It's not their fault.
it's not their fault, you know?
But that's coming from growth.
Yeah, that's coming from growth. Yes.
If you're not fully like conscious and have a little bit of wisdom, you're going to take it out on people like most women do
Of
and men
course.
do.
And most people do it now, for
They do.
example. Yes, I see that. And after doing
100%.
the work with yourself, I think you would agree that every person becomes so, like you see everyone how they are, right?
Yeah,
You
to their
just
best
see,
potential.
you see like from different perspectives already there, who
Yeah.
they can be and who they are.
Yeah.
I always like when I look at the person, I always see what they can achieve, like who
Yeah.
they can be, and if they
Yes.
do the work. But
Oh yeah. Yeah, you see the potential people have and it's very unfortunate they're not able to reach that potential, but everybody has that potential for sure.
everybody has
So
that.
to conclude, you're saying that this routine is formed, but also to maintain it, it takes work. It's like every day you need to work on
It's
it.
an everyday work. Yes, it's an everyday work. And I want to say that self care is not only just doing something weekly, monthly, it's everyday work. Every day
Yeah.
you should do that consistently, be really responsible for that. And yeah, so you can make it a habit. It's an
Yeah.
everyday work.
It
It's
is
an
an
everyday
everyday
job. And I want to people see that it's not easy, it's difficult. But if you want to be your best, your healthiest self, and you want to live a fulfilling and balanced life, you should do the work.
Yeah. And I'll add to that, self-care isn't always and only your hair and your nails.
Yes.
That is such a misconception happening in social media right now. And I want to make that clear that when people say self-care, it's not do your makeup and your hair and fix your nails and buy nice clothes. It's much deeper than that. Those things are not going to give you the genuine comfort and the love for yourself. Those things are instant gratification. They're going to make you feel good maybe about 24 hours, but the next day you're going to go back to feeling like your
Empty.
old self, empty. Self-care needs to come from nurture.
Right. I agree with you.
Nurturing your inner world, taking care of that inner little boy, inner little girl, and that's a lot of work. When you do those things, everything else will flow so naturally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. And it takes a lot of our time and effort to do those things.
Yes.
To go to do your nails, to your lashes, your brows. And when I stopped doing all those things,
Yeah.
I really realized how much time I have now,
Oh my God,
honestly.
minimalistic, right? Living that
I'm
minimal life.
living a minimalistic
I
life.
100% agree.
And now I see how much time I have. For example, when people say I don't have time to read books, when they work, they think they work, okay, they don't have time to read books, but they do have time to do the nails, to do the lashes, to do this or
Scroll on the
that.
phone for hours. Yeah,
Scroll
the
on the
average
phone.
person is away from their phone for 7 minutes only. That's just research.
Oh my God.
Just 7 minutes.
And that's why I even control that.
Yeah.
I even controlled how much time I have. You know, if because I'm a creator, people may think that I'm always on the phone. I'm creating the content.
yeah.
But no, that's not true. I can just post something on my stories, you know, for my community. And then that's it. I'm not even looking at anybody else's stories. I'm so focused, you know,
Yes.
on whatever I'm doing because
You have to be.
I'm more interested in my life than in anybody else. And I want people do the same, you know. I want
Be interested in your life, right?
to be interested
that
in your
addicting
life.
to your
Yeah.
life. How beautiful that would be.
Yeah, and to nurture yourself.
To nurture, and how beautiful it would be if women would make an attempt to watch their own story.
Yeah, it's very beautiful.
You know, or men. View
Yeah.
your own story, like swipe on your own story all the time, like how just self-reflecting, go back to yourself all the time.
You know, most of the time when I'm on my Instagram, I'm looking on my page. You
Yeah, me
said, and
too.
I'm looking to fix something, to
Me
see
too.
what I'm giving to people. Because when you are creating, I want to give something
Yeah.
meaningful. You know,
Oh yeah, it's
is it
growing. You're growing.
Yeah, I
You're
want to see my
growing.
mistakes, and yeah, I want to. That's another beautiful point to control how much time you're spending on
Yeah.
Instagram, and to control who are you following. I would
Oh,
add
yeah.
also that because this year I unfollowed so many people. I just follow like a handful of people who really inspire me to be
Me too.
better,
Me
not
too.
to compare myself to
No,
them.
no.
Even if it's okay to have, I want to say it's okay to have negative emotions when you see someone. If something is giving you
Yeah.
negative energy, just unfollow. Just don't
Yes.
see it. Just make your life clean. Just surround yourself with people who inspire you to be
That's right.
better, to be your best self.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. We'll end with that because it is the most beautiful statement when we guide women to really nurture their inner self versus not focusing on the outer. And I think that's where that routine is created and kept.
Yes.
So, Zhenya, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I
too.
think you're doing a phenomenal job with wellness routine. Please keep teaching women and guiding women and allowing women to really see their true self. It's God's work. It really is.
Yes, I believe in that.
It's
That
God's
if I'm
work.
doing this work, then this is
Yeah.
God's plan. This is not about me. That's
Yeah.
how I'm taking it.
This is what
This
He
is
had for
about
you.
them, and I'm serving people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are His disciples for sure. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you to Edith Jen.
Of course.